listening to The Review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Review. I guess it's kind of the holiday edition in between Christmas and New Year's, where we're going to talk a little bit about bowl games, college football, all kinds of fun and excitement. With us, the online sports guys, of course, Brother John Nelson, Brother Marty, Brother John Fox, and me, Brother Phil, back from my British vacation. And before we get started, we got to talk to Brother John Fox.
Yeah, bro. What is up with this attire? I know that you're in your hotel room of the week. But before we came on, excuse me, please flash your right wrist, sir. Please see. All right. So he still has, and your attire, sir. Where in the wide world of sports are you?
Is
Please
a jam band involved?
Yes, I'm at the highly acclaimed Embassy Suites in Saratoga Springs, New York. Last night was night one of a 4-night New Year's run for Dogs in a Pile. And to illustrate how little sleep I've gotten since the show ended roughly 8 hours ago, I have on what I wore last night. So you can see the wristband. I don't know how much hard-hitting commentary I'll be able to deliver today, but we'll give it a go.
I just have this vision of all of this alcohol being consumed by a bunch of folks and going from Saratoga Springs. How do we say this? Institution of liquid learning. From one institution of liquid learning to another, when one closes, you go to the next, you go to the next, you go to the next, and it doesn't matter if you're still holding your wristband. Am I close to being accurate, sir?
Yeah, if I were to turn the laptop around, you'd be aghast at what the room looks like. But there's evidence of everything you're talking about here within a.
There's members of the band.
I just have vision.
No people are here. Just
There's no like shrapnel of fans laying out.
Yeah, there's nobody like
next to some empty bottles.
Yeah, no one hanging upside down on a sofa or anything like that. You know, feet in the air. Okay.
But luckily, there's a liquor store in the plaza here.
Yeah. No reenactments of The Hangover.
Oh, see,
possible road signs from nearby.
Yes.
Yeah, this would have fit well in Vegas so far.
Absolutely.
Somehow there's a little person sitting in the corner.
And it's like the mayor of some township there in New York State.
I'm not sure, but I think he was in that safety dance video.
Yes.
Or Mike Tyson with a tattoo.
Next week's episode, someone's gonna have a black eye.
Sly's got a lion hanging outside the framing of the camera. He's got some kind of animal stolen from a mid-New York zoo.
Yeah, well, next week's show, if I can piece it together, I'll detail nights 2 through 4 as well. So
wow,
we'll see what happens.
Damn.
All right. Something to look forward to. I believe it's called a promotional tease.
Yeah. One of several.
Guys, bowl week or bowl season continues. We've had a slew of games here over the last 10 days or so.
Yeah.
Some pretty interesting ones, some sleepers, and some kind of in between. Probably going to go ahead and start with the Pop-Tarts Bowl for a number of reasons.
Yeah,
One, because you can never top the sacrificing of a live mascot on TV.
Unless you have the resurrection of one.
Did you see the zombie one? They actually, during that whole process of lowering the toaster, the previous years that was resurrected was alone in the upper deck watching.
Yes.
I don't know who that lady is that's in charge of that marketing.
Oh my
She
God.
deserves the raise of raises.
Yes.
Yeah, and we should add that the mascot also survived an attack by Ibis or whatever the Miami Hurricane mascot is.
Oh, Sebastian the Ibis. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sebastian deserved his own fate. I mean, look, if you're a mascot and you're trying to take out a Pop-Tart,
in the middle of the game.
In the middle of the game, I'm sorry. You deserve your own fate. And Sly, if it means getting slugged or whatever, getting cooked and throw an Ibis in that toaster, I don't care. You deserve your own fate at that point.
I have nothing to add to that.
I did like Wild Berry living up to his name.
Yes.
Him sneaking up on the referee in the end zone.
Yeah. And Wild Berry was acting truly like a Pop-Tart that wanted to be put in the toaster with all of the shenanigans. Not acting like a true corporate partner mascot, but trying to be a troublemaker. And I think that troublemakers end up going to the front of the line, but apparently that did not go well.
But alas, much like the Miami Hurricanes, Wild Berry ended up in the losing section.
No, that's actually their dream. So he won.
Because Iowa State got the 42-41 win on a last-second touchdown, and Cinnamon Roll ended up being the sacrificial mascot.
It's true.
Eaten by the other mascots as well. Cannibals.
Yeah.
In a game that
Self Pop-Tart
headlines not necessarily for the Pop-Tarts, not necessarily for the gameplay, but probably because University of Miami quarterback Cam Ward basically shut down at the half.
Yeah, I need to get some clarification on that.
I think it was you got the record and you're done. I think that was pretty much it.
Did he tap out? Did his agent have him tap out? Did the coach tell him go ahead and sit?
I don't know about you guys, but I don't really have a problem with it because it's basically a glorified exhibition game anyway.
Yeah.
What about you?
Bowl games have become business decisions for the most part, and some people opted out. Some went for records like Cam Ward and Kyle McCord. So it all to their own benefit, whatever strategy they take.
If I'm blocking for him and I'm trying to win this game, it'd piss me off.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
I mean, if it was a blowout, yeah. But, if I'm going to war with somebody trying to win something, especially if I'm a senior, that'd piss me off.
Yeah, but how pissed off are you
In a game that really didn't mean anything.
in a bowl game that the easiest play on the board was the over?
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I get it. Cam Ward gets his record. He's done at the half. Maybe with that context, I think that, if I'm an offensive lineman in that situation, I'm like, okay, I get it. All right, let's try and win it with the new quarterback who's supposed to be our quarterback in 2025. Maybe the linemen turn the page on it. I don't know, but I think I would get it. I understand in a situation like that, but I think that when the one thing that we have seen that is one of those overarching personality traits in this bowl season, the bowl games that don't mean a damn thing in the grand scheme of, say, the CFP are incredibly exciting. They get it and literally keep you at the edge of your seat for most of the time that they're on. The bowl games with meaning are the ones that suck, have negative connotations attached to them, negative conversations attached to the whole thing, negative play-by-play and color comments inside the games themselves. We're finding more enjoyment talking about, I don't know, the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl,
which I attended.
Scarf in my hands, courtesy of one of the gentlemen here on the show, and this is treasured beyond belief. We're having more fun discussing all of these bowl games that are off the board than we are the CFP. What does that tell you?
But are we outside of the Pop-Tarts Bowl and the Snoop Dogg Bowl?
Absolutely we are. All right, fine.
Yeah, the football on a budget $3 Toledo Pitt game in Detroit was an epic as well, and that would have been a heck of a game to
attend. That was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes.
And outside of the bowl game, I wouldn't have watched either of those teams. The only time I see those teams is when I watch the college review show before we do the podcast to make sure I got all the highlights in.
I mean,
I sat and watched that game. I was like, oh my God.
I mean,
action.
Yes, absolutely. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, scarf here in my hands, courtesy of one of the people on the show. was a 5-point game that had a total of 79, 42-37. I mean, who in their normal watch pattern would watch these? Sorry, the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl
Okay, I got to ask you, when did they play that?
back on the 17th, so it was 12 days ago. So, but I'm building here. Give me a second. So, the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, scarf in my hands, courtesy of one of the folks here on the show, was a 79-point game that was a margin of 5 when it finished. The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl was a 57-point game, margin of 5. The Cure Bowl in Orlando, the first bowl game in that stadium.
Not sponsored by the group The Cure, by the way.
No. Disintegration is the best album ever. We know this.
But that's a separate conversation.
Yes.
I would enjoy that mascot, though.
Yes. A 57-point game that started out with a wide margin and closed by the end. It took a while for Jacksonville State to wake up, but it was a 57-point game decided by 3 points. Then you end up with the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which went to double overtime. You have the Hawaii Bowl, which went to 5 overtime. Five overtimes. And everybody's sitting there thinking, man, first 5 overtime game we've had, in 75 years or something when it came to
But there's more.
There is. The Game Above Sports Bowl that Marty was talking about, 6 overtimes, Toledo and Pitt. It was insane. The game was nuts. The Rate Bowl, the same day in a baseball stadium in Phoenix, 44-41, Kansas State and Rutgers, and Chris Kleeman shouted out his band. The 68 Ventures Bowl in Mobile, 38-31, Arkansas State and Bowling Green. The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Navy beats Oklahoma. The Birmingham Bowl, a one-touchdown.
The 2-point because
wait. The 68 Bowl had 69 points.
Correct. Nice.
Yes.
Sometimes the jokes write themselves, Marty.
Yes. Birmingham Bowl was a one-possession game.
That's just good scoregami.
Yes. The Liberty Bowl had 65 points in it. The Holiday Bowl had 87 points in it. The Vegas Bowl was a one-possession game decided by 4.
Also a good game to watch.
Nebraska and BC in the Pinstripe Bowl, you got to see stuff out of the 1970s. I mean, you had white jerseys with mud and nasty and people fighting each other. Pop-Tarts, was a 1-point game. The Military Bowl had 8 ejections and a 26-21 game that was, decided late.
And a ref taking a bump and cutting himself.
Absolutely, he did. I mean, and the thing was, it was one of the dudes that got ejected for East Carolina, pushes the player from behind to NC State, and the NC State dude headbutts the umpire, which caused the gash on the night of World's End from AEW. So don't tell
me.
Who
hasn't wanted to headbutt a referee, though?
This is what I'm saying. But don't tell me.
I'm living vicariously through that guy.
But don't tell me we're not having great experiences with all these other games that don't have anything to do with the CFP. We just went through the laundry list of all the games that included the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, scarf here in my person.
Props to them for putting on a good pregame environment as well.
Yeah. So, no, don't tell me that we're not having fun looking at the other bowl games. You got to go and watch, and then you end up with the chaos that we've seen.
And don't forget, you didn't even talk about the Snoop Dogg Bowl, where Snoop did pretty much everything you could possibly do within the stadium over the course of the game.
Presented by Gin and Juice, as it should. Don't tell me we're not having fun.
You had to watch that while having your Snoop elf on a shelf sitting next to you on the couch.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
All this talk of Scooters Coffee reminds me that I should probably have a coffee in front of me, but I don't.
I just finished mine and I need more.
Yes.
You're geographically challenged with Scooters there, Sly. But
yes, that's true.
But yeah, that Embassy Suites coffee.
It is good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phil. I was making my case and I went long.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we forget about games.
That's what we're here for.
We also forget about games like the Birmingham Bowl that actually was delayed due to storms in the area in Birmingham.
Oh, my God. There were 7 minutes to go in the game, and you get lightning in the area, and I'm like, oh, my God.
But
Now wait, now who won that game?
that would be Vanderbilt, thanks in large part to underdog Heisman Trophy candidate Diego Pavia, who had a huge game.
Diego,
Okay, now wait. He completed the Bama trifecta by beating Auburn, Bama, and winning the Birmingham Bowl.
I think
I mean,
the Bama trifecta would be beating those two plus up maybe Alabama, Birmingham, or South Alabama.
But he won the bowl. He should get the key to the state now by beating the top two teams and winning the bowl.
Governor Meemaw might have an issue with that, though. But no, to Phil's point, I mean, I do see that. I think that beating USA, Troy, or UAB would be a part of a trifecta, but Diego went to the end of the line and just went ahead and got to the end of the book where you got the twist. And
he and his lawyer got him one more year, so he could do that.
All interesting stuff. We're talking about Vanderbilt. To me, part of the drama of the bowl games are which teams have finished off really good seasons and which have finished off really bad seasons, and what's happened over the past few years. If you'd have told me that Vanderbilt, Illinois, and Syracuse would be on the rise, and that Oklahoma, Florida State, and whoever else have gone downhill. I mean, I don't know what relationship NIL has with any of this, or if it does, but the past few years, weird stuff has been happening, and the bowl games accentuated that clearly.
Blame you.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question to the group: does Brent Venables have a job next year?
What's his buyout?
Checking the buyout.
Yeah, in two out of the 3 seasons he's been there, they've had a losing record.
Yes. And the laughter that you're hearing is from the rest of the college football world. No one is showing any kind of pity. But according to our friends at the Oklahoman, OU football head coach Brent Venables' contract buyout at the end of the 2024 season is $44.8 million. So I'm guessing the word attached to Brent Venables losing his gig is Magic 8 Ball says unlikely.
He should lose it after. I don't know if you guys watch the Armed Forces Bowl, but the majority of the Oklahoma players did not shake the midshipmen's hands after the game, and that deserves a smack.
Yes. Yeah. See, no.
Be better than that.
Yes, absolutely true. The OU Board of Regents approved a new 6-year contract worth $51.6 million for Brent Venables on June 21. Venables signed the contract on June 7, while AD Joe Castiglione signed on June 10. Venables' contract runs through the 2029 season. Venables' contract includes various opportunities to add to his lucrative extension, according to his contract obtained by the Oklahoman and the USA Today Network. Here's a list of performance bonuses Venables can earn. $125,000 for participating in the SEC championship game, up from $100,000 for participating in the Big 12.
Unattainable.
An additional $125,000 for winning the SEC championship game.
Definitely not getting
unattainable.
Point 3. $25,000 for participating in a non-CFP postseason bowl game with at least 7 regular season wins.
All right, that's his Christmas shopping money.
2.
Yeah, didn't get that this year either. I think they were 6-6 heading into the game that they lost.
$200,000 for participating in a CFP first-round game.
Nope.
$300,000 for participating in a CFP quarterfinal game.
Definitely nope.
$400,000 for participating in a CFP semifinal game. $750,000 for participating in the CFP National Championship game, up from $300,000. Awards bonuses, unchanged. $35,000 for being named SEC Coach of the Year. $75,000 for being named National.
You couldn't even hold that one in.
No. For being named National Coach of the Year by any one of the following: the Associated Press, the AFCA, and or Home Depot /ESPN. And $25,000 annually for a cumulative team GPA of 3.0 or better for any semester. Venables.
That could happen.
Venables receives up to $240,000 in private air transportation, a change from the 30 hours he was provided in his original contract. So it is now converted into dollars and not hours.
Okay.
So that is what Joe Castiglione has decided to sign Brent Venables to for his contract at the University of Oklahoma.
They're going to start making them ride Spirit Airlines, and then they're going to try to get rid of them if they make them start riding in the Boomer Schooner, the one that's prone to tipping over when they come flying out.
John, you made some.
They're trying to find a way out of that contract if he's riding.
Yeah. Sly, what's up?
Yeah, you made some great points in a previous episode. I believe when you're talking about Gus Malzahn going to Florida State and all the costs involved, hiring and firing people, and at Oklahoma, I mean, financially, I don't see how they could make a change, even if they wanted to.
I needs a private jet. The buyouts. I mean, but I will say this: there's one school that actually did the buyout right, and it's Auburn. Because what they've done is
they did something right.
Wait, you said Auburn and something right in the same sentence.
I know.
That's the first time this season of this podcast that has been said.
True. Try the last decade.
I know. But what they did is they budgeted the buyout over the length of the deal. It's not just something where it's a lump sum within 30 days and then you've got to pay the rest. Literally, whatever the buyout is, it's budgeted out over the remainder of the contract. So literally, they're the first school that I can think of that has done
the vote of confidence.
Yeah, the buyout. They've done the buyout correctly and budgeted it out over the remainder of the deal instead of this astronomical. You've got to pay, $30 million of a $60 million buyout within 30 days, and then the rest is budgeted however through. So no, that's the one thing that they did right this year. And people are still leaving in the portal, by the way. Walter,
they've also done extremely well in the portal, picking up Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma and
seriously, Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma. You think is a good deal?
Better than what they had.
6-6 Oklahoma.
That ain't saying much. 6-7 Oklahoma.
Oh
that
yeah,
ain't saying much, brother.
In the Navy.
And Eric Singleton, the number one wide receiver in the portal, also going to Auburn this year.
But the thing is, this is what people have to remember about the portal. You can get all of the great talent in the world. You could pay for the fantastic talent. You could bring in Singleton and pay him 7 figures a year in NIL. The Jimmy Rain money, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of houses constructed. You could bring in all of the talent in the world through NIL and portal. And I don't care what school we're talking about. If your coach is ish, then you're spending bad money.
Yeah.
You also might be killing your culture.
We just had that conversation when we were talking about Oklahoma.
Yeah. But the buyout.
Look at Miami. A couple of those dudes are probably going to hit the portal, but do you want to grab a 5-star that starts fights on the sideline during a 3-point game?
This is what I'm saying. This is the thing. If you portal and you grab a high-priced talent out of the portal, you win the bidding war for a kid like Singleton. Woo, A, first and foremost. But B, if you can't coach him and you don't get the best out of him,
what's the point?
Obviously, it's the player's fault and not the coach's fault. I said that tongue firmly planted in cheek. How many situations going forward through the portal are we going to have high-priced talent go into situations where their talent goes to ish because their coach is ish?
No, there's numerous examples of that.
You're buying a used car. Might look pretty, but could run like shit.
Yeah, see DJ Ukulele.
He is the used car. Cars.
Play baseball.
Oh, there's his next NIL deal. It's CarMax.
Yeah, or Bear Alexander, who went from Georgia to USC to now to Oregon and is making his way up and down the West Coast.
TJ Finley in his 9th school and 9th years of eligibility.
Yeah. I mean, there are numerous examples of guys who keep bouncing until they think they find the right place, but they never really do.
The problem is you, sir.
Common denominators.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, could be.
What's the next topic, sir?
We got some bowl games coming up this week, guys. More bowl games, lots of bowl fun.
Is one of them the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl? Scarf firmly planted in my hands, thanks to one of the members of the show.
The ones that intrigue me partially because of the food product involved are the Cheez-It Bowls, South Carolina and Illinois. Of course, that got Mr. Fox's attention.
Yes, we'll have him discuss.
Um, that could be a pretty good game. Both of those teams finished pretty strong this year.
Sly.
From a matchup standpoint, there's no way Illinois should win this game. They've been horrible against running quarterbacks, against defending the run, period. South Carolina's defensive line should be able to stop the run. So, however, this has been the case in several games throughout the year, and with a month to prepare, who knows? Maybe Illinois pulls off another miracle. But I mean, South Carolina seems like one of the most formidable teams left, and seem to have some incentive to actually win the game. They've got a lot of good vibes going there, and they want to keep it going. So I'll be firmly planted if I'm still upright and functional on New Year's Eve in the afternoon, and raring to go.
Boy.
Hmm.
For the record right now, South Carolina is a 10 and 49.5. Get in price $56.
That's respectable.
And then we have, of course, the big name but not really interested bowl, otherwise known as the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa, Alabama and Michigan.
So do they
the mid bowl?
do they give you just, if you're a member of the media, do they just give you insurance quotes now at halftime instead of the old Outback buffet like we had in the old days where you could have your
Is that what ReliaQuest is? I thought it was auto parts.
well, whatever, fine. Here's a spark plug. I mean, if do they, all right, fine. Now you're going to have me go and research it. ReliaQuest.
Okay, but according to the four-letter network, wasn't one of these teams supposed to be in the playoffs? Because wins don't matter, according to ESPN.
The others,
it's whoever has a contract with them. I mean, whoever is deserving.
And the other is the team formerly known as the national champion.
Okay, so ReliaQuest is a force multiplier of security teams to increase visibility, decrease complexity, and manage risk through the gray matter security operation.
What?
Exactly. So then do you get like instead of the bloomin' onion and the steak and the chicken at halftime, you just get like antivirus software now?
Yeah, for those of you at home, this game was formerly known as the Outback Steak Bowl. And as somebody who covered that game, it was a lot of fun, only for no other reason because of the food.
Yes, absolutely true.
Give me a bloomin' onion in the press box.
And by the way, Alabama's a 13.5, 43.5, and the get-in price is $74 at the Pirate Ship.
I just don't see how either one of these teams are even remotely interested in playing this game.
No.
Especially at noon or 11, whenever it starts.
Yeah.
Free trip to Florida.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you get to go to Tampa. It's like, oh, great. Look, go to Ybor City. Have more fun. But you see now, if you had the bowl game in Ybor City and you had it at night, that'd be a fun bowl game.
Yeah, somebody probably gets shot though.
Bite your tongue, sir.
Also on New Year's Eve, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Louisville and Washington.
Football on a budget, brother. Get in price $7. Louisville 2.5, 49.5.
And then the opportunity to see Frosted Flakes dumped on the winning coach.
Oh yes,
awesome.
I can think of better venues than El Paso for New Year's Eve, but that's a
it's a nice little stadium, but the town's a little sketch.
Down in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Thank you, Marty Robbins. I knew that was coming. And by the way, the night ends in theory after Baylor and LSU take the over in the Kinder's Texas Bowl. Baylor 3.5, 59.5. Get this. In Glendale, it's Penn State and Boise. Boise's the home team because they're the higher seed. Penn State's an 11.5, 53.5 is the total. The get-in price in Glendale, $44 for the field.
For its college football playoff quarterfinal game.
Okay, if you're anywhere near that game and you don't go see a generational running back like that,
yeah,
your football fan card is revoked.
Who you guys got in that game?
Boise on premise.
I like Boise. Penn State's going to turtle, and that dude's going to run all over him.
I like Boise in the points, even though the number keeps going up. But I there seems to be this consensus that the defensive line is just too big and athletic for Penn State, and that Boise State won't be able to run.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at Penn State at Minnesota, which it seems like a similar style of game. I didn't see Penn State's defense dominating Minnesota's offense. And
Nope.
Boise State seems might be a little better prepared and has a better back. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ohio
I'm
State
not
was down
buying it.
3 starters on the line, and they still held those dudes in check. They're in for an awakening when they come up against them.
And if Oregon couldn't stop Mr. Genty, I don't know that Penn State's going to either.
Nope.
Give me Boise. That's all I'm saying.
Give me,
Yep. And
give me,
then,
give
of
me.
course, we start the new year with more college football playoff fun. Texas and Arizona State in the home of the OSG, Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Texas probably come into this game a little bit favored, but Arizona State's intriguing with Cam Scatterbo.
You just like saying Scatterboo. You and
I
William
do.
like saying Scatterboo.
Okay.
I can't not take Texas in this game, but I would love to see Arizona State get the win just because it's a better story or for no other reason.
12 and a
Oh,
half.
God.
12 and a half, 51 and a half right now for Texas.
They got Scatterboo. They're going to come out swinging. They've got exactly 0 to lose.
Yep.
That's the kind of team you don't want to play in a playoff game.
does since you live down there, does the fact that Texas is playing in that stadium for the second time in recent memory give them any sort of familiarity advantage?
Maybe a little bit.
Not enough to move the needle. But
Yeah, I think that they're going to travel a little bit better, although I think the Arizona State faithful is going to show up as well. The Texas folks certainly know where they're going. They aren't going to be as confused or lost in downtown Atlanta as they were the first time they came. But I don't know.
yeah, Arizona State would be a more fun, a more fun victor in this game. I love when the coach is interviewed. I just like the whole vibe of what he's trying to pull off there. There's nothing to suggest they're going to play poorly, considering the way they finished the season.
Get in price $33 in the 300 level, by the way.
Not bad. One of the other quarterfinal games.
That's unbelievable.
In the Rose Bowl, this sounds like an old school Rose Bowl matchup, Ohio State and Oregon.
Ohio State 2.5, 55.5, by the way. Get in price.
Wait, Ohio State's favored in this game?
Yep.
I'm surprised.
Get in price $321. Ohio State's 2.5, 55.5.
Okay, I don't think that's what they believe. I think that's what they're doing to try to get the money to shift a little.
Yes.
I don't think we're favored. I think Ohio State can beat them, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah,
It depends which Ohio State shows up, though.
The first game between the two teams was pretty good. And
It was a 1-point game.
Yeah.
At home. I mean, it's going to be tight. Can I start complaining about how the 4-letter just sits there and complains too much? Because having Saban saying Ohio State fans need therapy while sitting next to a guy who can't leave his house without his dog. Good Lord. Stop pushing your narrative. You went to a school, you coached at a school where they went and poisoned trees. There's idiot fans for every fan base. It's not just one. Stop pushing your narratives for schools you don't have a contract with.
Well, and
it's getting tiresome. Like I'm having to listen to alternate broadcasts so I don't have to listen to their BS during the game. It's ridiculous.
The other part of that is don't take social media as representing the entire fan base.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, this will be the game where we finally find out if the Michigan game was the best thing that ever happened to Ohio State within the context of finishing the season.
Good point.
Yeah.
That might be your best point of the year, John.
Oh,
because I think it really it
good night, everybody.
seriously. He just hit his walk off.
Yeah.
So this is what he has to do. So he's got to go on the road, follow his favorite band, stay up late, wear the same clothes he did at the concert, keep his drinking bracelet on, and then that's the key to having the best comment of the year.
Yeah. Hunter Thompson, where are you? I guess.
Dude, you are our show's Hunter Thompson.
Indeed.
Don't
I want to see the print on your shirt start moving like in the movie.
Oof.
Don't push,
Like the
don't
paisley.
push.
I won't be sitting at the bar with lizards.
Or a big
Suspect.
Samoan.
At least not that you're aware of.
No, correct.
Yeah, I like Oregon in the game. It's going to be a close one. That might be the best game of the night. The final game, the 8:45 kickoff, in the Superdome, Notre Dame and Georgia.
Get in price $63. Georgia 1.5, 45.5. I'm taking Georgia all day.
This is another tough one, but Notre Dame has a lot of similarities to Penn State in that they tend to not perform when it comes to being in the spotlight.
I'll do a graphic for that one.
Georgia knows how to win games like this. It would. I said the under last week. I mean, Georgia in the under seems like it would be. I wouldn't feel bad if I lost that bet after making it because it seems like the right bet.
45.5 the total, I think. I mean, so 20 what? So 20 something 24, 23, 21-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there are
23-16. Yeah.
Notre Dame's gonna Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions going into this game. Georgia going in with their backup quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, whose only significant game action came in the SEC championship game.
Which, that can also help you because that's the only film they got on the kid.
True.
And they have no idea how they're going to, what is a game plan going to look like for Georgia with him as quarterback when they've had this long to plan it.
And Notre Dame, without their best defensive lineman, kind of equals that out a little bit. I think Georgia probably will win this game, but I wouldn't put a ton of money on it.
Juice boxes, sir.
Juice boxes, right.
Neither condone nor endorse that kind of behavior.
Unless you want to sponsor this podcast.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
But that's what your quarterfinals looked like. Bowl game wise, yeesh.
Well,
We don't really have it.
Well, after that, before we come back next week and reconvene for the first time in 2025, Duke and Ole Miss on Thursday.
The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
The Gator. Ole Miss is 17.51.5. Get in price $41. Friday, it's Marty's next chance to pick up a scarf similar to the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl scarf
It's directional Texas school battle.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, get in price $68 at Gerald J. Ford, has North Texas and Texas State. I mean, it's a great way for them to put folks in seats. And by the way, we are not showing any kind of
You're holding it the right way too.
Partiality with the UNT mug that is now a part of.
Pay attention to the handle when you pause that video.
Yeah.
And on the however, on the small screen, it just says UN.
Yes, but if you were to hold the mug a certain way, the way that coffee mugs are constructed,
I see what you're saying.
Yes, with UNT, and then how the handle of the mug is positioned. There's a certain thing that you have to pay attention to. Texas State 14.5, 63.5. Then the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Minnesota 7.5, 42.5 in Charlotte, getting price $68 for Minnesota and Virginia Tech, Buffalo and Liberty.
Well, hang on, I do want to make a comment about the Mayo Bowl. I would like to see Minnesota win the game, if for no other reason, just to see PJ Fleck get mayonnaise dumped on his head.
See now, and this is the other element that was disappointing for me is that the Duke's Mayo Bowl tried to kumbaya themselves with the Pop-Tarts. I don't know if you saw this on social media.
Mayonnaise and Pop-Tarts don't mix.
No, but they tried to sit there and say that they did. They had mayo trim on a bite of a Pop Tart that they
Ew.
yeah, and they tried to play nice.
Thanks for playing. Bye.
Yeah, mayonnaise is good on a lot of things, but a Pop-Tart's not one of them.
No, and so we have officially banned Duke's Mayo from Office HD because of that attempted relationship.
Maybe if he had the Ore-Ida, French fries bowl, that might work with the Duke's Mayo bowl.
You go to Boise.
That is the pairing.
Yeah.
You go to Boise.
I'd go to a poutine bowl.
See,
if we're gonna work fries, then
do that in Toronto at Sky Dome, or you do it in Hamilton at Ivor Wynn or something like that.
And have a big vat, dive into the gravy.
See?
Yeah, I mean, take the potato bowl and combine it with a cheese curd company, and you're in business.
Oh yes.
See,
one thing I've loved so far about this bowl analysis is that you've completely overlooked the most loathsome matchup of the entire month, at least from my perspective. Iowa and Missouri, which is two of the most hated rivals of Illinois. The good news is that someone's got to lose, and I'd say I like Iowa less than Missouri. So I
was gonna say for you, that's gotta be like watching two ex-girlfriends fight. You don't really care who wins; you just want to see people bleed.
Correct.
By the way,
Yeah.
The Music City Bowl, it's Trans Perfect, which I guess is more than Pluperfect. 2:30 Monday afternoon.
Be careful how you say that. That could aggravate a political group.
True. Iowa, Missouri, get in price at Nissan, $19. Missouri, 2.5, 40.5.
Is that the under construction Nissan Stadium or what's left of the Tennessee?
I think it's what's left of it. I don't know what the capacity is at the moment as they're trying to build their super hyper mega new stadium.
Yeah, and since I was playing, definitely take the under.
Yeah, well, but ever since they got rid of Brian Ferentz as the offensive coordinator, they
Not every week.
I was gonna say, are there any good like punting prop bets in that game?
Probably.
Nicely done, Marty.
Yes. Yes.
I will say that game might be worth going to if for no other reason but the fact that it's being played in downtown Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't do it for me.
What are those tickets going for?
19, get in.
Yeah. Just for hanging out in Nashville, it's worth it.
Okay. So
it's
that's
cheaper than a parking spot there.
That's true. So that's your get in price for Monday, by the way. So now we've covered all the bowl games, Sly. There you go.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Oh, and we didn't talk about one of the bowl games played.
I thought you were going to say we didn't talk about the 1AA playoffs.
No, we didn't talk about Colorado getting smoked by BYU in their bowl game.
Does this feed into your Dion to Dallas theory, John?
I mean, yeah, and then Shedeur gets drafted to be the understudy for Dak, and they told two friends, and they told two friends, so on and so on. Wow, yeah. Well, and you knew that Kalani Sitake at BYU, he wasn't messing around.
Nope.
Because they score, and then they go onside kick. First quarter, like 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
I can't tell you how happy that made me.
Sitake's got a lead, and he's like, I'm not messing around. I want to try to get as much distance between myself and Colorado as possible. So they score and go onside kick and got the onside kick back. LJ Martin, by the way, 93 yards on the day, the leading rusher for BYU. But, I mean, yeah, they had Colorado on their heels defensively from the absolute beginning of the game, and BYU
it never stopped.
No, and that's what you do. You sit there and you put the pressure on Colorado the entire time, and you set yourself up to have enough distance as possible between yourself and that offense, and it worked out really well. You won by 22.
And we also didn't talk about, and a big shout out to Bryson Daly from Army, who broke Division I rushing touchdown by a quarterback record. Army gets the win 27-6 over Louisiana Tech, a fill-in Louisiana Tech team at the Independence Bowl.
Yeah, you got to give Sonny.
Beautiful Shreveport.
I give Sonny Cumbie a lot of credit for. I mean, they were 16th in the APR, and they showed up at 5-7 on short notice, and I couldn't find the T-shirt to wear it in time, and I'll wear it for next week just to show support for Louisiana Tech and Army and for the bowl game. No, and I retired the Marshall Army Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl T-shirt for obvious reasons. But no, I give Sonny Cumbie a lot of credit. There were a couple times where they should have scored 7s and came away with 3s, and you could tell that Army was the better team. But Bryson Daly, 27 for 127 and 3, and you put Bryson Daly and Pete Dawkins in the same conversation there.
Yeah, I do find it fascinating that Daly ran for 127 and 3 touchdowns, but was 2 for 9 passing for 65 yards.
How did he ever get 2?
I know. I mean, really? UConn, by the way, beat North Carolina. I mean, but the fact that UConn quietly goes about their business and they finish their season 9-4.
Go figure. Just a few years ago, we were talking about them as one of the worst teams in college football.
Randy Edsel 2.0, Jim Mora Jr. Or sorry, I guess is he Jim Mora now? JL Mora? Who is he now? Is he Jim Mora? Jim Mora. But anyway, Randy Edsel 2.0. The program was running like an Edsel. Then ended up with Jim Moore.
Look it up, kids.
Yes, look it up. That's the Nelson annotated for this.
Yeah, and if you ever want to, it goes back to something you said earlier too, John. If you ever want an example of why a coach makes a difference, there you go.
Yeah, leave him alone. Let him do his thing. Let him build a program. That's what you're seeing with Jim Moore at UConn. I tip my hat to you, sir.
The only
Being an
bad.
Go ahead, Marty. Sorry.
I was gonna say the only bad bowl game I really saw was one named after mowers that had the worst turf I saw on any of the fields.
Marty, you're being a bad boy.
I mean, if your sponsor is for lawn care and there are divots that big and puddles everywhere,
and they don't actually take care of their own.
I'd be asking for a refund.
20 minutes before the game, they were still trying to sweep water off of the edges of the baseball surface. And it was pretty bad. And then it continued to rain. But I will
anytime they zoomed in and you saw how that was, I felt bad for the kids. I'm like, someone's getting hurt.
Yeah, and the white jerseys and everything. Sly, what was on your mind?
Just that UConn building its program as an independent and being able to schedule the way they want to as they're building the thing. Pretty smart stuff. I mean, took Wake Forest to the wire. They're not getting crushed every week in a conference as they build out the way they want to. Good work by them.
Took a page out of Notre Dame's playbook.
I also want to throw out one interesting, at least to me, statistic from the other night is, I don't know exactly, I haven't done the math, but Syracuse in 25 minutes of time possession racked up over 600 yards of offense. So that's, I mean, Washington State was depleted, but still, that's a high run rate for a huge competitive advantage in offense. Yeah.
Crazy.
Guys, I think we've kind of run out of stuff to talk about for this week.
Oh, Marty, promote the X real quick.
Oh. Well, they're going to have a nice voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes on there. Kind of interested to hear the story about how he went out to Iowa for his son's senior game and then still made it back to call an Ohio State game. Kind of interested to see the back about that. And then interested to hear about his numbers have been going up for the TV broadcasts. A lot of people are finding alternate ways to hear his voice over somebody else's video. So that'll be good. And he from what I hear, he's an all-around good guy. I'm looking forward to seeing that interview.
Yep. And,
for decades, it's always been the way to listen to college football. Put on the TV and listen to your home radio broadcast. Best way to do it.
Pause, sync that thing, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So, voice of Ohio State plus Hode Rubino from Devil's Digest talking about everything Arizona State. That's the two lead guests on the College Football X this week.
Coming up later this week on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network, guys, it's time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. As Marty always says, please like and subscribe.
No. That's not
stealing
how this
my
works.
line.
That's not how this works. You do your just end the show. Just go ahead and end the show. That's not how this works.
I will bumble through ending the show so Marty can have his catchphrase at the end. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy the new year. We will be back with you at the beginning of 2025. Have a great week. Bye.
Please like and subscribe and check out Puppy Pics.
Man.